This is my home office. Stop! In under 30 seconds, how did we get here? I used to approach my desk setup by just plonking a keyboard, mouse and a monitor or two on my desk and just following a few ergonomic guidelines and then trying to have everything as close as possible. Then about 4 years ago, I moved back to 100% remote work and I realised I didn't need to tolerate the inconveniences of the office anymore. That's when my office space started to get much more interesting. During these last 4 years, life has been throwing everything at us and we've been moving house a lot. So I had plenty of opportunities to iterate and play with ideas. Now I have something pretty cool. This is my home office. Two 4K projectors tiled seamlessly together to create a large desktop on the wall. I typically use this display for programming, video conferencing, project work, and the occasional bit of flight sim.
Thank you for flying Piledriver Airlines. We know your spine is important to you, so we are grateful that you chose to fly with us anyway. This would be a great time to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already.
A centralised sitting desk in the optimum position to be able to use that desktop, and a standing desk in the corner ideally positioned to be out of the way but also still comfortable to use the screen. And behind me I have my old desktops for when I need more sustained power. I can control those from the second standing area, or I can send it over to the projectors and control the keyboard and mouse via Synergy. I bought this old mixer at a second-hand shop. It can take audio from everything that I use via the headphone jack and send it out to whatever combination of headphones or speakers that I want to use. It means that I can listen to multiple devices at the same time, and that can be useful for having some background music while I'm doing something like a flight sim.
Piledriver Airlines.
Or maybe I want to be using my laptop but get the notification beep when the video rendering finishes. The Baaaar is the crown jewels of the whole setup. It's what gives me the flexibility to mount the projectors, the lights, whatever else I want to do in the future. It can all be mounted very quickly and easily, so I can just get on with whatever it is I want to do. It should also be noted that the Baaaar is one of the few things in the office that's actually new. Wherever it's reasonable to do so, I try to reuse what I have rather than buying new or throwing things away. Primarily because of the environment, but well hey, it's also good for your wallet as well. You'll notice that the cables are a little bit wobbly in places, but in general they follow the power along the bottom and then the audio on one side and the video on the other side. Why? Let's talk about cable management. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff going on in here, which means there are a lot of cables. Life challenges meant that I didn't spend as much time on this as I wanted, and therefore I didn't do the cabling as tightly as I wanted. But I've accidentally struck a balance that I really like. In my previous offices, where I had more time to get the cabling just right, it took an absolute age every time I wanted to add, remove or change something. In here, I've got a few key places where I like to keep it really tidy, but I also have quite a few allocated places where there can be mess, it doesn't get in the way, and is not particularly visible. This has meant that in this office, I can install things much more quickly, but it's still really easy to figure out what is what. Along with that, I label almost everything. And I say almost because my label maker is currently broken, which means there's a few things which aren't currently labelled, but as soon as I fix the label maker, then those will be labelled. I can't underline enough how much of a difference that label maker makes. It really makes things easier. For my setup, it was actually really important to separate some types of cables from each other. For example, I've got the projectors up high on the bar, but I've got the sources of picture coming from down on the desk and also way off behind. That means I have some really long HDMI cable runs. Those cables are carrying 4K signals each, and that makes them incredibly sensitive to electromagnetic interference. I also have long audio runs for very similar reasons. For the laptop it's fairly short, but for the desktop that's very long. So in both of these cases they're very sensitive to other cables that may be causing interference. I'll stay out of the details for now, but it makes a massive difference. So while we're talking about the cabling, let's talk about the power switches. This usually gets a whoa type of reaction when people see it for the first time. Often that comes with a bit of concern, which is quite understandable if you don't understand the risks. So for that I'll direct you to a technology connections video that explains it really well. I have recorded a deep dive video on this specific topic about my specific setup, and I'll give you more details about that towards the end of the video. But in short, the reason why I did this is so I could turn off power to anything that I'm not using, and also so that I can precisely meter how much power everything's using. This gives me a really good picture over how much power things are using when they're in standby, but also gives me confidence to make sure that I'm not getting close to any limits things like how much power can the wall socket deliver, how much power can my UPS deliver. I highly recommend getting a power meter. Some devices will really surprise you by how much power they're using, even on standby, so simply unplugging or switching off power to them can make a massive difference. From this panel I also have fine-grained control of the lighting, so I can do things like light up my desk for if I'm working on something specific, or if I'm filming something with a specific configuration, then I can have the lights going in the right direction for that. It's rare that I use the coloured lighting in day-to-day usage, but it's really nice to have for meetings and when I'm filming. I have 3 sets of shelves behind me that are really interesting. Project shelf is where I put things like a Raspberry Pi if I'm wanting to work on that for a while. The charging shelf is a thing that you should not copy. I need to revisit this and do it much safer. The key problem with it is that batteries are a fire risk, and I currently have them surrounded by wood, which is quite flammable. I will do a follow-up on that at some point in the future, so if you're interested, being subscribed is going to be worthwhile. Finally, the last shelf is 2 shelves in one. We've got the old computers, which are just there to look interesting, and sometimes I do things with them. And the last part is just a few old achievements. The purpose of this shelf is simply, I try to keep things around that inspire me and remind me of my past successes. They also help give me ideas for how to solve problems that I may have solved before. To complement this, I then try to keep everything in stock and close to hand. This is the beginning of the RandomKSandom series. On YouTube, I'm going to be focusing on videos like this, which are to be fun and optimized for the YouTube algorithm. The current plan is to start a new project each month, although I may adjust that frequency a little bit if need be. With each project, there will probably be 1 YouTube video, and there will be at least 1 item which will be up on the Patreon page. This month I wanted to start off really strong, so there's 4. 2 for how to seamlessly tile your projectors while still retaining the quality, 1 set of test images for helping you do the calibration, and 1 video showing different methods of mounting the projectors. As for the sorts of projects that I'm going to be doing, I've left lots of clues throughout this video, so feel free to have a look through and see what you think might be coming up. I have a ridiculously long list of stuff that I want to work on, so the test for whether or not something gets included is, am I excited to tell my friends about it? If the answer is yes, then I'll include it in the series. Some projects will be hardware, some projects will be software, some will be a mixture of the two. Some will be open source. I don't promise all of them will be, but a lot of them will be. And some projects will naturally have bonus material, and some projects won't. So ones like this one, my office, I have lots and lots of bonus material that I haven't uploaded yet. So those are going to help fill in future months. And those are things like, what's the story with all of those switches, going into a deep dive there, how I did the lighting of the room, and why I did it that way, and just a whole lot more. It's become apparent that it's not totally obvious yet what this channel's all about. So instead, I've shown the next episode to a couple of friends and family, and hopefully that's enough to earn your subscription.
Wow.
Super cool.
Hell, Kevin, this is mighty.
I promise I'm not just hitting a pot in the kitchen. So anyway, I'm Kevin, this is RandomKSandom. I hope you'll join me for the ride.